Okay, enough playing around with the demos, let's check out the system software. We have the web browser, which doesn't support Flash, therefore it doesn't support YouTube. We've got Nintendo Video, which shows you 4 different videos at a time, which can be in 3D. System settings, the Nintendo Zone, download play where you can play games or demos off the Wii for DS games. Swap note, Netflix, which I really need to delete because I don't have a Netflix. We don't have Netflix anything here. No. We've got 3DS camera, 3DS sound, which is an MP3 player, where you just load stuff onto the SD card, and it lets you play that. It's got a photo and video viewer. In fact, here's one I got off the Star Fox 3D website. So, the 3DS has no native support for YouTube at the moment. I honestly think that's something they need to get to. So, with that out of the way, let's compare it to the DS Lite. Now, the DS Lite does not have a joystick. It has a microphone. Just turn that down. It has a headset jack right here. Everything is a little easier to use on the DS Lite. For instance, the shoulder buttons are better, and all the buttons feel a lot better than they do on the 3DS, because these feel like micro switches, and I don't like micro switches for stuff like this. Start and select are kind of hard to get to, but power button's easier to get to. The stylus is better, well, in a better spot. And because this stylus is a little bit bigger, you can't use it. You can't just use it in the 3DS, but if you want to use a 3DS stylus for a DS Lite, you can. The stylus is just barely longer when extended. Now, check out the buttons. These are bigger and easier to use than these are. Now, battery life. I have left this in sleep mode for literally weeks at a time because I use it as my alarm clock. But this, until one time where I accidentally left it on in sleep mode all night off the charger, that was actually right before I filmed the first part of this video, which, as you could see, it was almost dead. Now, let's compare Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance, excuse me, has the best triggers of either of them. A better D-pad. It doesn't have stereo speakers and is not nearly as the sound quality isn't nearly as good, but it's easier to hold than either one of them. The screen is, you know, a Game Boy Advance screen. Now, something about the 3DS top screen, it feels like it's flopping around when you're holding it, that the DS Lite does not. It's just, it's stiff, it's there. Power switch, like I said, is in a much more convenient spot, and the battery life is much longer. And they got some built-in AR games, in case you don't want to buy any games just yet. So, as soon as they add YouTube support for this, it'll be really good. One more thing. I have a hard time getting this to connect to the router, even when I'm literally right next to it. But this one, I can have it connect to it several, like, the router's downstairs, so when I'm using it in my room, several yards away. So, down to the real nitty-gritty. Some games.